Hello, welcome to the Power Up Talk Show, a talk show where we bring together community leaders and inspirational people that are making a difference in our world. I am Sandy Spady, your host, and before I introduce officially my guest, Jerry, we always like to have a little fun here with Dion Bass with Songbird Cocktails. Did I say that? Songbird, bird, fly.
Songbird Cocktails.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandy.
Awesome.
It's always lovely to be on your show. My name is Dion Bass, Songbird Cocktails, and today I'm going to be doing an old-fashioned for you. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, the old-fashioned kind of came about. Did I mention it was smoky? Oh, I didn't? It's a smoky old-fashioned. The old-fashioned kind of came about when we were trying to figure out what to do with not-so-great liquors. So we just added a little sugar to them, a little bitters. You know, bitters have a nice medicinal quality to them. And then, we stirred it and it turned out great. So happy accidents there. So our old-fashioned is going to be composed of orange bitters, black walnut bitters. This is actually one of my favorites. It actually gives a nice sweet flavor. Then we're going to use a Demerara gum syrup. Now you can buy this at Wine, Beer, and Spirits. And with the Demerara gum syrup, you want to be careful not to use too much. A little is a lot. Now, our stars of the show. We're going to use just a small amount of Shanky's Whip Irish whiskey. All right. And then my favorite guy here, we're going to use our cask strength Maker's 46. So this is going to be a French oak cask. It's going to play really well with that Shanky's. All right. Now I'm known for my shake, but today we're going to stir. Let's give that a nice stir. So the reason I stir this is to add a little bit of dilution and to chill. Other than that, not really another reason to stir. And I give it about 36 to 40 revolutions just to make sure that it's nice and diluted to the right temperature and the right amount of water to whiskey. Awesome. We're gonna ice our smoked glasses. Then we're gonna give these guys a little pour. Now, if you're looking for more delicious cocktail ideas, you can reach me at dion@songbirdcocktails.com. And here we have it, our smoked old fashions. I hope you love them. Really, I do.
Thanks, Dion. I love old fashioned.
Anytime.
All right, let's have a toast, Jerry, to this amazing Dion's Old Fashioned.
Thank you. It's delicious.
Gotta love an old fashioned. Jerry Banks. I'm very excited today for Jerry Banks. He is a longtime investor, a business leader and a mentor and a father and an author and a grandpa too. Jerry, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, our good friend Christy Anderson connected us, and she always connects me with amazing people.
She's wonderful.
Jerry, this amazing new endeavor right here. He is now an author and he's on Amazon, and he will be a #1 Amazon. It is Eat and Smile. It's my favorite thing to do, Jerry, smile. Tell us a little bit, about the journey, your life journey, real estate. I know you're the youngest one at age 18, right?
Right.
The first of the first. You have so much of a journey. Where do we begin?
I guess as a child, I was lucky enough to be born into a family where my mom and dad were in real estate business and development. My dad was always a dreamer. And so I grew up in the business, kind of felt like I knew what I wanted to do, and I wasn't very good in school, so I skipped the whole college thing. Yeah. But I was lucky enough that they changed the law right when I was 18 to make it legal to get a real estate license at 18 instead of 21 in Iowa. And so I was the first one to do that. and been in real estate construction and development the rest of my life. Started my own business when I was 24, then varied off into some other businesses like pizza business and those kinds of things. Tasted failure, tasted a lot of tough things along the line, which all led to my book, which I think the subtitles is important also. It's about surviving and thriving on the roller coaster of life, because life is a roller coaster with lots of lows and lots of highs, and it's all about that.
You just said something that just hit something with me, because so many people feel like they have to go to college, right? I was not a college person either. I didn't like it. I didn't like school. I like people. And working with multiple chambers throughout my life, there's such a need to give awareness that not everyone's meant for college. But
That's correct.
look at your success. I feel like I've done okay. And it's your God-given gifts that you're going to expand on and use, right? And your
Right.
gifts of people and seeing things in business, right?
Right.
A true salesperson, I don't know how great they are in school, right? But they're great with people, right? And
Right.
vision, and they see things.
Right.
Let's share about, this second, I was going to ask you about okay, you have multiple properties. You have 30 properties in 5 states.
Say yes.
How do you keep track of all that, Jerry?
Well, number one, I have great tenants in my properties, and I have a very small staff that does a great job, and I'm aligned with a couple of management companies that do a fantastic job for us also. And with time and experience and organization, you learn how to manage it. So
What's
it's
the
a
biggest challenge? I was going to say, what's the challenge you have with the 30 properties? Like, what's the worst?
You know, I always vision back to the old Johnny Carson, Ed Sullivan shows where they had the plate spinners on, and you've got all these plates in the air. Which one's wobbling? Okay, so there's always something that's wobbling. A tenant, a property, a capital improvement need, financing something. And so you attack the wobbling plates every day and try to keep your eyes on the others and wait to see which one's going to wobble next.
That is so good. Now, if you're from a younger generation, I suggest that you Google the Johnny Carson show. We grew up with it.
Right.
Very entertaining and a lot of life lessons. And I can
Yes.
completely remember. He put that on his head, didn't he?
Well,
Like
they had plates on sticks.
Yeah.
And they would get them going and spinning.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'd put them on his head or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But they was always having to go after the one that was wobbling.
Yeah, always the one.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of like you said, the roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're going to have those peaks and lows, but
You are.
you got to hold on tight and just continue till the ride's over.
And you got to get through it. And there's keys to that
Yeah.
of how to get through those. And we all have them. And that was one of the things, the foundation of writing the book. I get so exasperated sometimes by social media, Facebook and others, painting these pictures of all these families being perfect and wonderful. And then when bad stuff comes along in our life, we feel like the biggest loser out there. And there's not a family out there that doesn't have skeletons in their closet, okay? And I think it's healthy we talk about the down times, especially when we're in them. I've had my share, okay? And I wanted to use the stories from my lows and my roller coaster to help motivate people or let people know it's okay. We all go through these things. The key is surviving and coming out whole on the other side. And having a plan for what you do and how you go about achieving happiness and success and those types of things. It's not that hard, really. Success or happiness doesn't require greatness.
Yeah.
Okay? It requires some persistence and some dreaming and some determination and a whole lot of resilience, with it. And when the down times come, you just have to remember not all storms come to destroy you. Some come to clear the path for your future.
Yes. I speak about, your chapters of life, and sometimes you want to erase some chapters.
Right.
But every chapter makes your story and your
it
journey.
does.
And you would be a different person if you didn't live through it.
Sandy, the things I'm most thankful for in my life today are not what I've achieved. They're what I've overcome.
Yeah.
And though that means more to me than anything else in the world. And so, embrace it. It's not easy at the time, and you don't see it sometimes at the time, but I guarantee if you get through the tough times, you'll look back and be thankful and proud of yourself for what you overcame in life.
It is so true. And I know you follow me on social media
Yes.
with the Win with Voices, and it's the power of the journey, sharing your story.
Right.
Because somebody out there always needs to hear it. And as you were a single father, age 9 and 14, your
My daughters were 9 and 14.
And so how many, men out there could be where you're at, but they don't really have, it's not as much a support, I feel like, in the world as single moms, right? What advice or what advice can you give these fathers out there that you can share? Because it wasn't easy, you said.
No. During the day, at the time I was working for the Lozier family, running a real estate investment portfolio and buying and selling multi-million-dollar properties all over the United States. And so I was doing that during the day, and at night I'm playing taxi, doing laundry, buying groceries, and doing my best to be a good dad. And I think the greatest piece of advice that I ever got was from another single father that I never try to forget. And it's not only true with raising kids, but it's true throughout life. He told me, he said, Jerry, he goes, especially in relation to your kids, he said, conduct yourself as though there's a video recording running on you 24/7. And everything you say and you do is going to be played back to your kids when they're adults. And at that point, they will be the judge of you. Okay? I said, well, that's good advice. Thank you very much. And, and he said, but do you want to know why? And I said, sure, tell me why. He goes, because a video is running on you. It's called their memories. Wow. They will remember how you treated their mom. Yeah. They will remember your actions as a dad. Yeah. They'll remember your character. And when they're adults, they're going to play that video back in their mind. Yeah. And that's the point they're going to judge you.
Wow, that's so true. Your childhood, when you raise others, it's so important because they watch and see everything, right? And then they repeat it. So it's so important, not everyone is perfect, right? We all learn, but it's when you take that and you learn from it and you try to do your best, right? They can see that.
And men especially, when we're going through a divorce, we're very ego-centric and competitive, and I was too, and I get that, and we're all about winning. And what I've told other fathers going through a divorce, winning means coming out with your kids big whole. It's not about money. It's not about who gets the house. It's not about who was right, okay? Or who was wrong, or who did what. It's all about your relationship with your kids and your kids coming out whole on the other side of this. Absolutely. And you need to think about what's on the other side of tomorrow. It's not about your ego. It's not about you winning. It's all about those 2 kids or 3 kids or whatever it may be in those examples, and conduct yourself accordingly.
So true.
Yeah.
Great advice. That brings me back to the name of the book, the purpose behind it, because I know, not everyone writes a book to get rich, because very few people really do get rich off of books. They have a passion or a purpose, or they want to motivate or change or educate or teach. You're at an age that you could have been on a beach having pina coladas pretty soon, and here you go, write a book. Yes. I know it's not easy.
Yes.
What made you do it? Tell us about the name.
First of all, I love to write. I've been writing for about 25 years, but it was all small items, and ran into a publisher through a set of circumstances and tried to get them to publish my little set of writings that I did, and told them my life story, and they said, no, your writings are interesting, but that's what we're going to write is this story, okay? And thought a lot about it and decided, the greatest value to me is if I could leave a message for my great-great-grandkids I'll never meet about what would I tell them? What would I want them to know? Yeah. I would want them to know life is hard. Life could be a bitch, okay? But the key is, what are you going to do to get through it, okay? And what are you going to do to survive? And so some key principles about that I wanted to get out in a message for my grandkids. And then over time, as I was putting that all together, and it took about 2.5 years, I realized I loved the message, and I wanted to be the servant of the message to not only my future great-grandkids, but to anybody else. If I touch one person, that's my payback, okay? And that's my reward. And so today, my life is, sure, I run my portfolio to make a profit, but it's really the value to me, and where I get my happiness is about giving back, okay? Whether it be my grandkids, my kids, others, people I mentor. The title. The title is a derivative of 2 stories, if I may. One happened shortly after I got my real estate license when I was 18 years old. Okay. I ran into an old real estate professional in my hometown of Glenwood, Iowa, and he said, kid, you want to know the key to success in real estate? And I was like, sure, whatever, Mr. Caldwell. I thought, I was pretty cocky at the time, but I thought, what's this old codger going to tell me? And he said, Jerry, the key to success in real estate is how much shit you can eat on a daily basis and keep on smiling. And I thought, that's it. But I never forgot it.
Yes.
And over time, I realized it wasn't just real estate. It was business and it was life. Your ability to eat shit and smile and survive to the next day and to get through the pits of the roller coaster are the key. But I still wasn't sure that it was right to put on a book cover and put it out on a bookshelf, like at the Bookworm or on Amazon or whatever. And so I had several titles I was playing with, and I printed them all out to look like book covers, and I carried them around with me everywhere I was going. And one day I was on a flight from Dallas to Phoenix, and I had pulled them out of my briefcase, and I was laying them down on the middle seat that was empty between me and a very nice older lady over to the far right. She and I never talked the entire flight. We get done, I shuffle all my papers back into my briefcase, and I stand up, and the flight is packed. They're trying to push us off, and I asked her, is there anything I can help get out of the overhead for you? And she said, no, but may I ask you a question? And I said, sure, what is it? She goes, have you had a rough life? And I realized at that moment that she'd seen all these titles. And I kind of laughed, and I said, well, ma'am, I've been very blessed in my life, but I've had some ups and downs and everything else. I said, can I ask you why you're asking? And she said, well, I saw those papers, and I think one of them was a message that was there intended for me today. And that kind of piqued my interest. And I said, well, may I ask why you think one of those was meant for you and which one it was? And she said, well, I think God set us beside each other on purpose. She goes, there's a message in one of those I'm supposed to see today. And she said, and I said, well, which one? She said, well, it was eat shit and smile. And sweet, nice, older lady. I thought, well, why would you think that? And she said, I'm on my way home from Dallas from having buried my son. She said, I think God wanted to tell me today that I need to eat shit, but I need to keep smiling. And I realized at that moment that it was a spiritual moment to me too. That God was speaking to me. That's intended to be your message. That's intended to be your title. Quit overthinking it. I'm done.
Yes, that's beautiful. I believe in that. I'm a very faithful person. And there's no mistake. No mistake that she was sitting there. No mistake that she needed to see that. Right. She just buried her son. And life's not easy. And things we have to go through is hard.
Exactly.
But when you just smile and you just surrender and just keep going, because that's what her son would want.
Right. Exactly.
That's a great,
exactly.
That makes sense, right? This is so amazing, and the eat and smile is so important. As far as, you say you had a lot of mentors, and I always love to find out. I have many mentors, right? I've been blessed too. Who could you say are your mentors, the people that inspire you? I know you inspire, I don't know, how many has sold so far? 1 million? I don't know. A lot of people, but it's going to.
Yeah.
But who inspires Jerry?
Who inspires me? Well, today, first of all, my daughters, my grandkids inspire me because I want to live up to their expectations. I'm a big believer in the Pygmalion effect, which is if you have high expectations of somebody, they will live up to it. Okay, so I want to live up to the expectations of my daughters, my grandchildren, my friends, my family, people I do business with. That inspires me to work harder every day and to do better and to always try to just make good business decisions and do the right thing by people. So that inspires me a lot. Never have been motivated really by money, although I've been very rewarded in that. That's easy to say. What has always inspired me is to do the best job I can possibly do and be the best person I can possibly be and to be honest and to be forthright and to fiercely defend my reputation and to just go out and if I'm, doing a real estate deal, make great decisions and be the best at what I'm doing, win with market share, whatever it may be, and do the best job I can and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yes. I'm a true believer. The more you give, the more you receive. But
Absolutely.
You don't do that looking to be received with something. You do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right. And so I always say about trust. To get trust, you have to give trust.
Yeah.
You have to trust others for them to trust you in return, or why would they?
Yes.
Okay? And so everything's a two-way street.
Always is. I'm going to
Yeah.
go to a quote in your book that I just love. We both grew up on Zig Ziglar.
Yes,
and if
we
you don't know Zig Ziglar, you better look it up
better
because
get
he's
with
going
the
to
act.
get you inspired.
Yes.
He's just I think his forte was sales, right? Sales and
Yes,
people.
yes.
And it's really people. But you can have everything in your life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want.
Yes. I was in his book, See You at the Top, which is a fantastic read.
Book.
And the whole theory of the book is if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
Yes.
Okay? And when you realize that and say, this is not about me, this is about solving other people's problems and helping other people, they will compensate you for that. And they will respect you for that. And so getting this mindset out of your system that it's about me and making it about service to others, okay, in any way, whether it's a business relationship, a family relationship, a friend or mentoring relationship, you'll be handsomely rewarded.
Yes. It's kind of one of my favorite quotes with Mother Teresa, Blessed Mother Teresa, is you can't change the world at once, but you can change one person at a time. That can change the world.
Right.
One person. And like you said, one person, right?
Right.
You know, every time at our Women with Voices events, we have women speak their journey. And I always look at them and I say, there's going to be that one person that is here because of
Right.
your story.
Yeah.
And Jerry, people are going to, like that lady next to you.
Yes.
You're touching people and you're sharing, you're being vulnerable.
Right.
You're being honest and you're sharing your journey. And if everyone would share their journeys,
Right.
the world would be different.
We
right?
all have a story.
Yes.
We all do, okay?
Yes.
And I would encourage people to talk about your problems more than your successes. Talk about your failures with others. In my younger years, I was very good at sweeping my problems under the rug and not addressing them. And I realized at the end of the day, then all I have is a lumpy rug.
Yeah.
And I trip over it, okay? And so talking about it, getting help from professionals, from friends, being open about it, really helps you clean out the stuff under your rug. And it's all very healthy to do.
Every time, you know, when women share their stories, or men, right, it frees you. You're like, I see this unbusted confidence in people that have shared their journeys because it doesn't hold you back anymore.
No.
And it could be real ugly. I have a real ugly story and I do share it. And it's a part of a story that needs to be told.
Right. I tell a lot of my ugly stories in this book, and people have questioned, why would you do that? And it's because I want to make other people comfortable to tell their story.
Right here on that one, Jerry. Oh my gosh. It is so true. We have to make other people share too.
Yes.
And it's being that
And it's
vulnerable.
okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
What is there to hide?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're seasoned, right?
Yes.
We've been around the block and I like it. I
Right.
like having all that behind me. But
Yeah.
it's those things that we live through that is vulnerable for other people to help them.
People have a tendency to want to brag about their successes and talk about their successes and how good they are, okay? I think of more value is the humbleness to talk about your ugly past, your failures, and to reflect upon them and to learn from them and to help other people avoid them also.
Yeah.
That has greater value.
Absolutely. And I just had my leadership panel at my summit for One with Voices. And I had a leadership panel. And I'm like, what makes a true leader? So, Jerry, what makes a true leader? Well, I surprised him on this one.
Yes, you did.
Whoopsie.
Where did that come
It
from?
happened. But you are a leader. But what do you feel?
I think it's giving of yourself, both in honesty, in time, and being honest. You know, one of the things I say often, and I talk about in the book, is a true friend tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Okay, so when I'm dealing with somebody, whether family, friend, or whatever, I'm going to give them the honest truth, and some of it they may not like. Okay, but I want to help them.
Yeah.
Okay, and they need to hear it from somebody. You know, you're being stupid about this, or you're wrong, okay? Helps them and gives value to them. So, and I think that builds leadership also and builds respect, and that you're there to help them. And that's just building natural leadership, you know, with it. And, you know, I always like to say, we're all in this together. We're all on the same team. Let's tear apart the organizational chart, okay? And let's embolden the people at the front line to make decisions, and let's get rid of this, I'm the boss, and and all of this organizational chart crap, okay?
Yes.
We're all on the same team. We're pulling in the same direction. Somebody's got to make a decision at the end of the day, okay? But it's a team effort. And so that's kind of my view of leadership, is emboldening people, or in giving people the authority to make decisions, and that you believe in them, and putting the systems in place that allow for that.
Absolutely. That's a great, did a
Yeah.
good job. I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. Yes.
Thank you.
As far as wins, I always like to say, like, oh, that was a win, and wins can be little, they can be big. But what's a win in the past that you honestly were like, yes? Any wins? Or what's a win to you? What's a win look like to you? Small, little, big?
Sure. Getting to attend the college graduation of my daughters
Yeah.
was huge
Yeah.
for me. Seeing my grandkids succeed is huge for me. Sure, I've had wins on a business basis for myself, and those are cool, and those are neat. Having somebody that I think is really, really smart and successful call and ask me for advice, it's like, wow, that's huge too. So those are all wins, and having people trust me and believe in me, those are wins that you earn over time.
Yes.
So all of those are very important and great wins.
Great wins. I love all of those, right?
Yes.
They're all different, but they're all
Yes.
successfully nice and sweet, right?
Yes.
The little wins and the big wins.
Yes.
Well, Jerry, how can we get a hold of you? Where can they find you? Find your
Okay,
book? You got to get the book.
I have a website, jerrygbanks.com. My email address is jerry@jerrybanksgrp.com. And those are the best two ways to get a hold of me.
Well, Jerry, this has been a great pleasure.
I've enjoyed it,
It's
Sandy.
so
My
great.
pleasure.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we both had a great time.
Yeah.
And audience, if there's something out there that you need to share, a story, a journey, don't share it. I mean, don't keep it to yourself is what I mean. Start writing it. Write it on a notebook, write it on a little tablet, but share your story because someone needs to hear it. Thank you.